Hi there, YouTubers. Last week I was asked if I still collect any US mint coins. So I said the last one I bought would make it into this video. And here it is. This is the last US coin I purchased. It is a 2016 Richard Nixon presidential dollar. It's graded Proof 69 Deep Cameo. It's really nice looking for a presidential dollar. So you might wonder why I would want a Richard Nixon presidential dollar. Well, if you've looked through my videos, you'll know that I really like collecting presidential items. I would actually love to have all the presidential dollars, but I just haven't had the desire yet to shell out I think I bought this for $10 shipped. You do that with all 39, you've invested, $390 in them. And I think there are a few that weren't minted in very high amounts that are actually worth a little bit more. Yeah, I just haven't decided to part with all that money just to have them sit around yet. But I mainly purchased Nixon so that I could kind of complete my little numismatics of Richard Nixon collection here. So let me show you a few items that I have, mostly from his campaigns. So this one, A Profile in Integrity, pictures Lincoln, Eisenhower, and Nixon. I'm not sure which election this comes from. It could come from 60 or 68. The profile of Nixon makes it look like he's older, so I'm not sure if it's from 60 or even in the 50s, but could be any of them. And of course, here's a Nixon and Lodge piece. Win in 60 with Nixon and Lodge. Henry Cabot Lodge, of course, being his vice presidential running mate in 60. We don't care how you vote, just so long it's Republican. So these did come in white metal like this. They were hold and unhold. They also came in brass. And you'll see the exact same thing for Johnson and Kennedy, even with the slogan on the back. And then here's another Nixon item. In 60, it's Lodge with Nixon. It's got a nice new 1960D penny. Keep me and you'll never go broke. So, as far as presidential campaign items go, you would see a handful from the 30s, but after 1912, you didn't see much until, like I said, the 30s, a few in the 40s, pretty much none in the 50s, and then the 60s were kind of a big time again. So here's one from the 68 election. You'll see it says, heads he wins, tails we lose. So here we go. Nixon, on the other side, heads he wins, tails we lose, and has George Wallace. So this was obviously a Democratic piece. Either way you lose. But I think we all would decide that Nixon was the better choice there. Here's another one. Election year 1968. Nixon and Agnew. The men, the issues. Has a little bit about them. Of course, Nixon, U.S. Navy, U.S. Congress, U.S. Senate, Vice President. So yeah, he'd go on, of course, to win the 68 election. One of the things he had to deal with was inflation. So you get to see this. It's a Nixon penny, and it does have a little bitty portrait of him on there. Okay, let's see here. I have a regular, there's a dime, just to show you how small this is. And on the back, I think we can zoom in enough so you can see it does say 1 penny. Has a little log cabin on the back. Of course, Nixon had a Democratic House and Senate the entire time, so they wouldn't enact any of his policies, so he actually had to use some of theirs, and he put in price freezes and wage freezes, and of course then there was Watergate and all of that. But we'll come back to 84. So this was a item that you could purchase at the Democratic Convention for some reason. It shows Ronnie the First on the front, and on the back there's all Tricky Dick, back again, Dickie the First. One of the things that you'll see are price freezes, you know, in Vietnam, and it's funny that they would put that as one of the negative things that he did, being that that was one of the policies that they kind of forced upon him. In fact, I've read quite a bit where they actually put all of those in place so that they didn't think he would use it. And then when he did, they couldn't really complain in the '72 election. But anyways, that's the story of my Richard Nixon presidential dollar. I still think he's a fascinating character. There's a lot that we could put in here, especially about the '60 election, because there's probably some voter fraud. And I'm not talking the voter fraud like Trump's talking about today. I'm talking about precincts where there really were more voters than living people. That made him kind of paranoid in his later life and would lead to Watergate. So lots of interesting things in this man's life. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe.